Moments of Inspiration with Mandla Mkhwebane on Zoe Live Radio. The Abundant Life Experience.
Hello everyone, welcome to Moments of Inspiration. Of course, we are in the 2022 edition. We had a great time in 2021, but we are back again. This is the second episode where we are looking at 2022. And today, man, I am so blessed to have with me one of my closest friends, Tumi Muraba. I don't know whether to call you Tumi Reverend Muraba or what, but you know, he will introduce himself. But Tumi is essentially a pastor, technology nerd, and trust me when I say technology nerd, the things that this man knows about technology, outstanding for a pastor and a thinker. You know, we need a lot more thinkers in this day and age. Tumi, welcome to Moments of Inspiration.
Thank you so much, Mandla. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, Tumi, we began, last week I had a guest, and you know him well, Kendi Madisha. And Mpho Madisha, yeah. we spoke about, we started a series around, 2022. But really, it's not a series about 2022, but it's more about life in general, because we want to help people to succeed, and success is not just a 2022 thing; it's a lifetime thing.
That's so true.
Yeah. So we spoke about introspection. We spoke about introspection. And we spoke about the fact that, you need to introspect, you need to look deep into yourself and really try to figure out what has worked, what has not worked, and why certain things work and why certain things don't work. But today, I really want us to give it a twist. And it's normally a twist, to me, that normally we don't do, because we may be afraid to go into, and you are the perfect candidate, to get into this, because you are the man of the clock, and I know that you kick 1 or 2 second counts, so I think it's important, to go into this and really talk about it. So, but before we do that, and stay tuned, it's gonna get really interesting. Before we do that, it's the first time you come here. We've always wanted to get you here. But thank God you're here today. I think it will be proper to do an introduction of who you are and, where you're from, what you're all about, and what you do.
Okay, thanks. So, Tumela Morava, born in the East Rand in Guatemala, that famous township of Teenage Zaza. And it's in Springs, that's right, the mining town. Yes. So spent most of my life in the East Rand, and I went to study at the University of Pretoria, and that's where I met you many years ago. And I am a psychology, sociology, and theology major. So I like people, I like studying systems, I like what's happening in society to understand how people think and why people behave the way they do. And so out of those loves of sociology, psychology, and theology, I think theology won out because I took that into postgraduate schooling. And yeah, so for me, studying and interacting, engaging with people, how people think, that's why I think technology is a big interest to me, because I want to understand, how does technology advance us? How do we interact with technology? How is it meant to make lives better? So yeah. I'm married for 15 years now. I have 2 children. Yeah, so life is quite interesting. I'm based now in Joburg, and I pastor a church, True North Church in Midrand.
Wow, man. That's awesome. So, and you are basically pastoring full time, right?
Yeah. So I'm pastoring my church, and I am beginning, and I think this is a good series to be talking about. I'm beginning to do other things on the side as I develop gift, as I grow as a human being. Realizing that I don't just have one gift, but I am multi-gifted, and so I should be pursuing things that I'm also interested in besides ministry.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, to be honest with you, in this day and age, I'm not sure how sustainable it would be to be exclusively just doing full-time preaching and pastoring. I know that pastoring is a whole lot more than just preaching on Sunday, but I think the world is changing. There's a whole lot of things that are coming through. And I think the direction that we're taking, it's really great. It's really great.
Yeah.
So man. And one of the things, and I know that here I'm putting you in a corner, but one of the things that has always interested me is that you pastor a what we can generally call a multiracial church, man, right in the middle of Midrand. I mean, really, I don't know a lot of people, and let's call it the way it is. I don't know a lot of Black people who are pastoring a multiracial church. I mean, I'm sure that should be interesting.
Yeah, no, it's one of the joys and I guess the pains at the same time of pastoring a multicultural church, especially in a country like ours with the history that we have as a country.
Yeah.
And it's a joy for me to be able to get people of different cultures, of different ethnicities in the same congregation, thinking of how do I minister to people and to these different people. So we are largely a middle-class church. So in terms of the spread of LSMs, we are more or less in the same space. But then, I mean, we know the history of we're not all there in the same way.
Yeah.
So last night we had a prayer meeting at our church, and it was great to see there were Black people there, white people there, young people, old people.
Amazing.
And I think of the gospel, because for us as South Africans especially, to be in a room like that every Sunday and to live together is not because we have overcome the past, but because of Jesus.
Yeah.
And so he's the one who brings us together. So it's always, even as we wrestle with the history of our country, the issue of land, the of other things, of white privilege and all of that, if there's a center, we're able to always come back to that and be like, actually, why are we here? We're not trying to tick boxes. We're not trying to be politically correct. What we're trying to do is to really be followers of Jesus. And part of the gospel message is to reconcile even as we deal with the issues of our past.
No, man. No, that's so true. It's actually commendable, and it's really great. I mean, in this nation, I think, personally, this is, and not because you're my friend, but I think, your church is really a good example in terms of, how, multicultures and multirace can really come together, with one mission and one vision. And may long that continue. But I mean, at the end of the day, people are people, whether it's Black, it's white, people are people, and people want to progress, they want to move forward, they want to grow. People have got dreams about themselves, they've got dreams about their families. I mean, I've yet to meet a father or a mother that doesn't want the best for their kids, that doesn't want the brighter future for their kids. That's why some people are moving. They move cities, they move nations, they go wherever they think there's some green pastures. So, and I'm sure a lot of people have made New Year's resolutions. For example, to say that, they want to progress and they want to continue. By the way, do you even have do you believe in New Year's resolutions?
When I was younger, I used to, every new year you make resolutions. The older I've gotten, no, I don't really make New Year's resolutions. I'm more looking at where do I want my life to be in the next 5 years. And I view that as a long-term goal. And then I know 5 years is not a long time. And then the 3 year, and then I have a 3 years, so it's 5 years, long-term, 3 years. That is like the middle. And then every new year, I begin to look at where am I, or what's my progress towards reaching that 5 year goal.
Yes.
So so I think for me, if I say 10 years, that's a bit too long. Sometimes I can't think that far.
Yeah.
I break it down to 5 years. I say, well, where would I want to be the next 5 years? I can see my kids. I can see this happen. I can see that. I can see our church. I can see my marriage. I can see, my other gifts growing in 5 years. Then I go, okay, halfway through that 5 year period, where do I want to be? And then I come back then to 2022. What am I going to do this year to make sure that in 2.5 years' time, in 5 years' time, I am where I want to be? So for me, the new year is like checking back on that 5 year vision. Where am I along? So God willing, it would be in every New Year's, I've gotten some way ahead toward that 5 year goal. I think a new year erases the past, but it doesn't. If you are a person who's got bad habits this year, you probably go into a new year with bad habits.
Exactly.
A goal that says, I want change to happen. Then the new year becomes, how can I start? Because, and you would know this, a new year for me is like a new day, and I can decide what am I going to do today. But then if I don't have a long-term goal for my week, I can think that's a new day, but then have plans for it, but actually never realize those plans. So the 5 year goal, and halfway through the 5 years, and then every year then is a mark. Am I hitting that mark? Am I getting there? So I look at you were talking about resolutions, I look at them in 5 year cycles.
Wow. Okay. That's actually interesting, and because I think you also give yourself time, and you also, because life is never a straight line, there's always gonna be, detours and all of that. And I think it's always good to check in and to see if you are still on the right track. And what I heard you saying as well is that when you plan your life, you plan across a variety of let's say, aspects of your life, or different facets of your life. You look at it holistically, and then until you come to that, to almost like that point where everything converges and you see that you're making progress. So that is great, man. I thank you for that. I mean, you gave us the planning 101, for free, thank you. So, as a pastor, I mean, like I said, you work with a lot of people, and we've established that, it's across, it's across age groups, across racial groups, even that to work with. So based on your experience in terms of working with people, why do you think people are able to achieve the goals that they've set for their lives? Let alone New Year's resolutions. Because New Year's resolution, like you said, it's just a year, but people have got plans, people are dreaming, and people want to achieve. And trust me, and I'm sure, you know this well, that people do want to achieve. It's not that people don't. People really, really want their lives to be better, but it's just not happening. So what causes that?
I think that's a great question. I've seen throughout the course of ministry and just, as you say, interacting with people, is that there's things that we do, and one of them is that we overestimate what can be done in the short term. When we make our New Year's resolutions, we want to do everything in 1 year. I'm going to do this, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to get a promotion, I'm going to start a business. And you put so much of that in 1 year. So we overestimate what that 1 year can do. At the same time, we underestimate what can be done in the long run. You see, and so what I mean by all that, so let me just unpack all of that. So if you say in 2022, I want to lose weight, I want to start a business, I want to get married. If I'm not married, I want to do all these wonderful things. And then already it's February, and the whole of January, you've never gone to the gym.
Sure.
You know, and you've given yourself all that you want to do.
Yeah.
And then the human mind starts saying, hey, it's now February, you've not done any of the things you've said you wanted to do. And so because you haven't gone to the gym, you start feeling like a failure. And then you become depressed. Then every other goal you had for the year starts going out of sync because you overestimated what you can do in 1 year. Right? But I believe that life is actually helpful when we view it in the long term, you know, and then you start working a day at a time. For example, and I'll go back to the exercise routine because people like losing weight at the beginning of the year.
yeah, definitely.
Is that if I go to gym for 1 day, you know, it's fine. You know, I'll feel good. I'll feel tired. I might feel sore because it's the first time I've done that, right? But truth be told, no change is happening in my body. I won't lose the weight on 1 day. I feel tired. But if you go to gym for 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 months, consistently, persistently, that's when change is to happen. So I think a lot of people who have big dreams, who have big goals, like you said, people want success. They don't understand that it takes small little increments of day by day, little by little to get the success. We think that if I start my business on day one, I'll make a profit. No, it might take you 4 or 5 years before you see the fruits of what you're doing. So people give up. And so after a while, they're like, I'm not losing that weight. Let me just stop. And that for me is the biggest thing, that we overestimate what can be done in the short term, but underestimate the long haul of actually waking up morning after morning. Yes, even when I don't see something, working at it. All of a sudden, 8 months later, people are saying, hey, man, you're looking nice. You're looking slim. What happened? It's been a long-term process. And so people need to stop thinking that I can do so much in a short period of time, but start thinking, what can I do little by little to ensure that in the long run, what I'm hoping for, what I'm desiring for is going to happen? Because then they won't lose heart. They won't be discouraged. And they will keep plugging away a day at a time.
I think there's a Bible word for it. The Bible word is long suffering.
Yes.
So yes, exactly. So man, I mean, you're talking about consistency. You know, so you're talking about consistency. It's really key because, like you say, that it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen one day. I mean, like one man said that people said to him that your success came overnight, and he said, "Well, it's the longest night of my life."
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah. So I mean, it's so why are people so impatient, man? Why are people so and like you say that I like what you said about 5 years and looking at life in 5 years versus a year, and I can see the merit of it as you're explaining this. Because looking at it in 5 years, it gives you that long-term view, and you are able to actually do measures. Because I've heard people saying, I'm going to get married in 2 months' time, or in a month's time. I need to lose 10 kilograms. And then they, then they do all sorts of things that are unhealthy and all of that.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. I mean, that consistency, it's really key. I mean, why are people so impatient? Why are people, what is it that people don't understand about this?
I think right now, and even unlike when we were growing up as young people, I see this in my kids, and I'll use this example, which so many people use. Before, when we were growing up, our parents would take photographs. Yes, there were those Polaroids. Remember, you could take a photograph, then you must shake them to see the photo. That was unusual there. It does happen, but it does not what happened all the time. Most of the time, our parents would take a photograph, and then that would be in a film. The film must still go and be developed at the store, taking a taxi to go to town to develop films, you know? And they might, in the beginning, they say, come back tomorrow or next week. And then, of course, over time, we got the 1 hour developing photo thing. But now, we take most of our photographs on our cell phones. I say to my kids, you take a photo and immediately my children say, let me see. You know, there's no waiting. There's no waiting. There's no process of expectation, of excitement of, oh, I'm going to see that photo and remember the day. Now, see the photo immediately. And so we have a culture that where everything is quick. We use microwave dinners. You know, people don't want to cook over a stove. You know, they want to put something in the microwave quickly. I mean, microwave popcorn. I mean, it's very easy. Boom, and take it out. And because of that, and also now, so our culture is very much, you get Instagram celebrities who go overnight from no one to somebody. People are driving cars and people have big companies, you know, we live in that era. And so people see these overnight, as I say, overnight successes, and they too can become overnight successes. And so there's this societal pressure to get ahead very quickly, not thinking of and not counting the cost that it actually takes to be that kind of a person. I mean, we see a soccer player like Ronaldo or Lionel Messi, and we're like, you know what? Those guys are overnight sensations. No, what we forget is that when children were very young, Ronaldo and Messi at 1 or 2 years old, their parents gave them a football. So they've actually started walking, they started playing with the football, and that is their lifetime. So now when they are where they are, even at the end of their career, we are surprised, but it comes as no surprise. This is something that's been in development for a long time. And so because we never see the behind the scenes, we think that should be immediate. You know, we should do it quickly and therefore get it. And so people need to understand that there's a lot that goes behind the developing room, you know, in that it's being developed. There's a lot that happens there. Not everything is instantaneous. And sometimes we would know that instant success is never kept. We all know musicians who had a one-hit wonder. Just one song blew up the charts, it was sung, and then we forgot about it. That movie star who did one movie, and then now we don't know them. You know, and the Bible is so clear when it talks about success is long-term. Success is generational. It's not just happens. You know, flash. It has to be something that is sustainable, something that was worked hard for over a long period of time. So people get, because of culture, and as I'm saying, our children are growing up in that, and it's up to us as parents to instill that long suffering in them. Because to them, they just see things happening. But that's not.
No, I mean, that insight is it's so great. You know, it's really great because people are so impatient. You know, we are so impatient. You know, even ourselves. You know, we expect things, and I think it's something that you have to train yourself. You know, to realize. I mean, after trying a lot of diets and all those things. I mean, it for example, with me, it finally clicked with me that, you know what, this is a long-term thing. You know, it's not about losing 10 kilograms in 1 month. It's about it's about consistently, you know, even if you lose 0.5 kilogram every month, it's contributing towards something, and like you say, it accumulates over time. You know, and soon enough you will begin to see that result. So, man, tell me, you are a pastor and you preach faith. You know, faith is part of what, you know, any religion for that matter is about. You know, so and especially, I mean, I am on Facebook, and you know, I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, this year is a year of what? It's a year of what? It's a year of great things, and it's a year of whatever things." And like you said earlier, you know, you will realize that the same person that you were, because just because the year finishes and the new year starts, it does not automatically means that, you know, there's a magic that happens, that suddenly the things that you have done in 2021 are now gone in a flash, you know. People have said, oh, this year finish so that I can start the new year? You know, as if they're gonna change, you know. So what does faith have to do with success? What does faith and believing in a higher power, believing in God, have to do with success, you know, in real terms?
Yeah, I believe that faith fuels our life. You know, faith is the petrol that we would need to get our lives going, in the sense that everything that we do as Christians is motivated by our love and our obedience to God. And one of those things, and whether people see it or not, is that right at the beginning, when God made the earth, he put Adam in the garden with a purpose. He didn't just put it there and say, sleep. No, he said, no, there is work for you to do.
Yes.
In that, Adam's success was going to be judged by what he did as God commanded him. That was what God had said. And yes, and if he was kicked out the garden, God said to him, your work will be harder now. But work was there before Adam sinned. There's always been work. And Scripture says, whatever you find to do, do it with all your might.
Yes.
So God expects us to be a people who work and who work hard and to do it with all our strength. And that's where success comes in. And so when I go down to pray, I'm not praying some fantastical prayer as if some magic potion God's gonna, no. It's to pray for God to give me the wisdom, the strength to do the work that I know that I should do. I mean, at the book of Proverbs, and it's littered, it's full. In fact, I was reading Proverbs 26, and is it verse 14? And the scripture, the slacker or the lazy person says, there's a lion in the road, a lion in the public, a dog and a slacker on his bed. The slacker buries his hand in the hole. He is too wary to bring it to his mouth. In his own eyes, the slacker is wiser than 7 who can answer sensibly. You know, the writer of Proverbs is saying, you know, guys, you can't be lazy. Put you for a purpose, and one of those purposes is to work. And when you work, don't just work in J. Make success of whatever you are doing. You know, your success might be actually starting a business in the 8th and the court. And that's your success. We don't own a day. But if you know that you're up every day and making the best quarters, that is success. You're working hard, you're giving, you're investing in that, and success that we see in your life. So faith and success go very well together. And because, as I said, faith is the fuel that drives our success, we always go back to God. God, thank you for giving me the strength to work. God, give me wisdom as I deal with my business. God, give me strength. God, you are my guiding light. Just take the life of Jesus. If you read through the Gospels, Jesus woke up early every morning to go pray. Then he spent the whole day working. I know some people think pastors don't work, but we are very busy. Going out to people's problems, to be part of the community. I mean, during COVID, we were going out as pastors to feed people because people couldn't go out and work. That took a lot of manpower, a lot of resources, giving that out, being there for people, giving people ideas, because now they had to think of making money differently. So Jesus exemplified that in his ministry, that he would spend the whole day healing, preaching, teaching, being with people. That is a life of a hard worker. So his ministry, 3.5 years on the earth, but it's the most successful 3.5 years of everyone, because 2,000 years later, we are still talking about the work that Jesus did. And so that is part of our faith. If you say you are a Christian, but you're not a hard worker, I doubt your faith. I doubt your belief because then you're representing God well.
Yeah.
Paul, church in Corinth, says, whatever you do, whether it's eating, whether it's sleeping, do it to the glory of God.
Yes.
Everything
Yes.
Don't let them preach, man. but that's what Scripture speaks to us of.
Yes.
James says, faith without works or faith without action is dead.
It's dead. Yeah.
So you can have this big faith journey. I want to be a great business person. I want to be a great this and that. Are you doing work?
Yeah.
It's the faith. That's a great dream, but are you doing the? Because they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
The faith might allow you to see things that others can't see.
Yeah.
But then your work is the corresponding action to your faith. So as you speak about, I'm going to be a top business person, I am working toward that, and they go together.
Yes. Wow, man. I mean, and some of these things have been prophesied because, like I said, that people, they claim that they see things and they say that, I saw, this is going to be a year of what. And every year, there's this always constant disappointment, where people are kind of like hoping that something is going to happen. Yeah. People are like hoping that something will kick, but they're actually not, it's nothing actually happens, because like you say, it's about not adhering to some of the principles that of the very same Bible that they believe in.
Yeah. I wish people would just say this is the year of hard work and then do that.
Let's do that. I mean, can we declare 2022 as a year of hard work? Can we declare 2022 as a year of consistency? It's and let's try that, and let's see how, if we are consistent for a solid, now it's 10 months. For a solid 10 months, what will happen?
Yes.
Yeah, and let's see if you won't see any sort of results. I like that, man. I think we should officially declare that. That it is a year of hard work. It is a year of consistency. So when you plan, because you've spoken about planning, and from what you are saying, you are also talking about, there is some sort of planning that is involved. When you plan, how does faith come in your planning? Does planning negate your faith? Does planning mean that you do not have faith? And must you always hear a voice in the morning saying, work, before you actually wake up in the morning and work?
I believe God has given all of us common sense. And God has made us intelligent as human beings. And whether people know God or don't know God, there's a part of us that knows what we how to do things.
Yeah.
So for me, faith is like whether it's a 5-year plan or just looking at my yearly updates, is actually asking God to give me wisdom how to do that. I think as a parent, for example, I know I don't need to pray about this. I know I need to work so that my kids can eat. I don't need to pray about that. So for me, work as a parent is something that I need to do. However, I come to God and I say, God, give me the wisdom to work in such a way that I don't rob my children of even myself, because I can work so hard and be obsessed about providing that I never actually have time for them. Yeah. And then I've only given them security, but no love. There's a balance there. So my faith puts me in a place where I have wisdom, and the scripture says, when you lack wisdom, ask God. At the same time, also praying or bringing faith into my life to give me the patience and long suffering. Earlier about people wanting things, I'm also like that. I also want things to work out quickly, and sometimes. And so it's in prayer and coming before God and actually obtaining patience and long suffering, because I need that. I need that for myself. I need that in how I do things, especially when I'm doing something right, but I'm not getting the right immediately. I need my faith to ground me, to put me in a place where I can be patient and wait for the right time. So my faith guides me. My faith ensures that even the plans I'm making are plans which are not selfish.
Yeah.
That's so important, that they are actually thinking of other people. So even when I make my plans, I can make my own individual plans, but I also need to sit alongside my wife and see, are these plans that I have for myself conducive for our family? I can't just deal with my success. It must be a holistic success around my family. For example, for me, the issue of health, even, and I won't get into it here, but scripture speaks of being healthy. But me being healthy is a plan I'm intentional about, because it ensures that I have a good life with my children. It ensures that I have a good life with my family. So I'm able to enjoy a long time here on earth, as far as it be up to me.
Yeah.
And so all are grounded and are really positioned by scripture to ensure that I'm as successful as I need to be. So for me, even financial plans are guided by the scriptures. So my life is centered around what God's desires are. And as a Christian, every area of my life is spoken of in scripture. Yeah. So I let that be my guide. So faith does not actually clash with plans. And planning is also important, because I don't believe that God needs to say to me every morning, wake up to me, do this, 10 left. No, I think it's common sense to figure some things out. I mean, if you have a project due tomorrow, you don't need to hear God to tell you you must stay up at night to finish the project. No, you need to finish the project. So you can deliver, they work together.
Hey man, I mean, there are people who literally do not move. They do not even put on a lotion. They've got ashy feet because God didn't say put on lotion. So it's actually interesting. But anyway, man, anyway. So from what you're saying is that faith is really a compass, and it almost like guardrails in terms of what you can do and how you can live your life and how you can actually, proceed with your life.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow. So now, but in reality, I mean, how can we really, because the issue of faith is very, it's very central, especially, with a lot of people, the majority of people in this country is very central. And how do we then balance that issue of faith and reality? Because sometimes when things are not working out, and I'm not saying those things are not there, when things are not working out, people are saying that, no, maybe someone is bewitching me, or or something. But when you actually check this person, they don't have discipline. They've never really stuck with anything. They've never really put their hand on something and really, so how do we then balance that faith and reality to understand that we are not of this world, but we are in this world, and this world functions. There's summer, there's winter, there's autumn, there's spring, there's day and there's night, So how do we balance that faith and reality aspect of things?
So I say to people, have all the faith you want to have, believe all that you want to believe. At the same time, work as hard as you can. So if it means confessing the scriptures every day, do that. Wake up every morning and do it. And then immediately when you're done with that, get up and go to work. So that for me, it's 100 in. There's no 50-50. You throw yourself completely into your faith, into how God is guiding you, and then you throw in all the energy that you have into it, because that for me is a recipe for godly success. That do it and keep on doing it and keep on doing it and keep on doing it, ensuring that God, who's sovereign, does his part, and me, who's limited, does my part.
No, that's true. That's true. Because one thing that I've also noticed is that even the people that God called, the ones that we know now as disciples or apostles, they were doing something, man. I'm not sure if there was any one of them that was not waking at that time. All of them were doing something, and all of them were busy, so there were not people who were lazing around. So I mean, lazing around, sleeping until late, I don't think it's godly, man. I really don't. I really, really don't.
Yeah, I mean, there's a part in the book of Acts when Paul wants to go to a certain region, and he says the Spirit of Jesus would not let us do that. That was God's sovereignty. He wanted to go into a certain part, and God said, "Don't go." The scriptures say now, Paul said, "Where else can I go?" He didn't just sit back and say, "Okay, because I can't go here, that means I must do nothing."
Sure. Wow.
I don't understand why God says I mustn't do that. I don't understand why this business I'm trying to start is not working out.
Wow.
But I mustn't just sit now and say, well, God told me. No. Yeah, it's not working out, but what can I do? And so in scripture, we don't find people who are just lazing about and who are just hoping that this thing will work out. No, it's like, if something that you're working on now is not working out, what else can you do? It's not to be stuck in one zone, but how else can I shift my energies to start something else and to ensure that until God answers this thing here, he'll find me busy. And I think Christians need to understand that is that yes, God is sovereign and God allows things to happen. God sometimes stops things. I might not understand, but I still have a duty and a responsibility, and that is to work hard. That is to use my strength and all my energy to do the best and to live out the purpose that he has given me on this earth. One of the things that I love doing is reading biographies. And every now and then, when you read biographies of entrepreneurs or people who've been successful in life, you find that in their stories, how they became successful was not the way that they planned to become successful.
Exactly.
They were trying, it didn't work, but because they didn't give up, they started something else.
Yes.
And now that's which they started is actually what led them to be where they are.
Wow.
Just showing that we are always to be pushing, and you never know.
Yeah.
You never.
Yeah.
God might expect something else in a different area that you didn't expect, but because you've always been pushing, and not giving up, results come your way. None of us know. None of us know what we do will succeed. But what we do know and what we can control is how much we are invested, how much work we put into it, ensuring that as it pertains to me, this must be successful because of my effort.
Yeah. Wow, man. I love it. I mean, whatever your hands find to do it with all your might, But your hands have to find something to do. Your hands cannot be idle. Your hands cannot just wait, And also, you remind me of Ecclesiastes 11, where it says that, plant the seed in the morning. I might need to quote it. It says plant every time because you don't know which one is going to succeed. You don't know what is going to bring you, what is going to bring you success. And I think that's what you're alluding to. That, and actually, maybe let's bring it in a little bit. That's actually the way of finding your purpose. A lot of people are saying, I'm praying for my purpose, and it's very rare. It might happen. It might happen, and it happens sometimes. But it's very rare that you can see light shining, and then you see your life in a movie. Then you know what you're gonna do. It's very, very rare. For some of us that are normal, you try this, you try that, you touch this, you touch that, and you give it your best. And like you say, that's how you actually discover your purpose.
That's right. And I think in a country like ours, with so much unemployment, one of the barriers actually being successful is that people will say there are no jobs. And that's true. That's the reality of our country. We can't deny. At the same time, I would say to somebody who can't find work is that, are you able to go volunteer somewhere?
Yes, yes.
Are you able to go help somebody do something that they're doing? Yes, even without pay in the beginning. Not because it's right, but because you want to be engaged. You want to be busy doing something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe as you are busy doing something, purpose finds you. An opportunity that never have come your way comes your way. At the same time, skilling yourself, you are getting better at whatever it is that you're doing. You know, I say to my kids every now and then that when some of us were in university, we would do little jobs here and there, you know, trying to make ends meet.
Exactly.
And they say to me, but why would you be working when you're supposed to be studying? I'm like, well, there was no choice.
Yeah.
And skills we have now is not because we went to study and get a piece of paper at the university. But it's because you do little jobs. You know how to be patient when you are serving teas and coffees at Mug and Bean. You're learning patience, which a textbook will never teach you.
Exactly.
You're learning a difficult customer who is going to swear at you, say bad things to you, complain about every single thing. And now, 15 years later, as I'm dealing with people, I'm thinking, oh, okay, be patient here, be patient here. They're always. And so when I deal with a complaining member now at church, I'm patient because I've learned the process of patience through waiting on table and dealing with customers. And so these skills come from different spaces and places. And I wish people would actually expose themselves. Yes, you don't have a job right now, but what can you? Who can you and say, you know what, I'm going to come here every day or 3 times a week and I'm going to do it for free. I want to learn something.
Sure. Man, no experience is ever lost. Like there's literally no experience that even if it was negative, you might then learn what not to do. You know, it's about learning what to do and learning what not to do. And I think there is experience also that teaches you what not to do. For example, I mean, if you're working, you know, and you see a manager, for example, when you're still that young, who the way that he treats the subordinates and shouts at them, and then it kind of like makes you think that, you know what, one day when I become a manager, I'm gonna do better. I'm not gonna do it like Mr. X or Mr. Y, you know. So it kind of like brings and enriches your life experience, you know. And in this world, that's what you need, man. You cannot. And like I was saying earlier, I like the fact that they're diversifying. I like the fact that you are not just into the Bible, but you are techie. I mean, I very few people can stand with you and talk about technology, as you know, but yet a pastor, you know, so we need to broaden our horizon, we need to broaden our scope and realize that for us to make an impact in this world and for us to really make a difference in this world, we need to arm ourselves with knowledge and skills and experience.
Yeah, I think one of the things that COVID has taught us is that we need to be multifaceted. For a long time, us as a church, and like many churches and many other organizations, musicians as well, and other people, couldn't have a concert, we couldn't meet, we couldn't do any of that. So you think, how else do you minister to people? How else do you still speak wisdom into people who are losing jobs, people who aren't doing so well because of COVID? And so I feel for me and for many other people, you start thinking of, is the way we do church, for example, sustainable in the long run? You know, are they new of doing church? And we've discovered some new ways. We've learned lots of things over COVID, which we're hoping to implement as we go on into the future, so that we can, for lack of a better word, relevant to people, knowing fully well that life changes. I mean, we don't know what next pandemic might come, or things change drastically. So we need to be always thinking of, what gifts do I have? How can I use and explore and identify my gifts so that I'm not just closed into one thing, but how can I spread my over my talents, my skills? And and we might be moving, I think, to an economy where we're not just employed in one job, you know, but where we do different things. in order to make a living.
Yeah, no, true. And it's also about expanding your potential and expanding yourself, because, sometimes a job does not necessarily fulfill you, or doesn't necessarily bring out all that you have, so by you diversifying as well, you are actually, ensuring that whatever that you're carrying, your gifts are actually, coming out as well, and they are being utilized,
That's so true.
Yeah. So now, to me, as we close here, what last words of advice would you give, especially, people of faith? Because our desire here at Moments of Inspiration, and that's why I've started this program. We are actually recording now. We should be sleeping, or we should be doing something else and spending time with our family. But and we are doing this because we really, really want to see everyone succeeding. We really, really want to see everyone doing well and everyone being as happy as they can be, in this life where that is crazy, where a lot of things are happening, where things change in a minute. One day you have a pandemic, one day you are with someone, the next day they're gone. So what can you advise, that for a productive, successful, and fruitful 2022 and life in general, what words of advice can you give, especially people of faith?
I would say, in Jesus' words, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength. And when you love God like that, you're completely sold out to him. That means you also want to do the things that he has put in you, the purpose he has put in you. So as you love him, that purpose unfolds, and you want to live in that manner. You want to live your life in a such a way that you glorify him. You don't want to be that servant who at the end of life, God says, look, I gave you 5 talents, but you only brought back 1, or you hid it.
Wow.
You have everything that God has given me. So I want to love God with everything I am, who I am, and just glorify him with that. And then Jesus says, and the second law that's most important is like it. Love other people as much as you love yourself. If we are people who love God with everything, we're able to make a difference in other people's lives. We are there to add value in other people's lives, and we add value in different ways. That's being a better husband, a better wife. And that actually means that certain things I must work in my life to ensure that I'm adding value in my job. I'm adding value in my church. I'm adding value in my society. And that's how you live a productive, successful life. It's by loving God and then living that out to other people, wherever you are, people are saying, oh, Mandla's here. Things are going to change. Mandla's here. He's going to bring order. Mandla's here. Mandla's going to gift. So people don't just view you as a human doing. I'm a busybody. But that person here, things change, the atmosphere shifts because he or she knows who they are, and they're making a change in everybody's life. So for me, that's how I view life, then that's how I want my 2022 to go, to live out my faith well, glorify God with the gifts that he's given me, pursue the vision, dreams that he's given me. And then as I look around, make other people's lives better. And maybe somebody might be starting a business because you see a problem. And as you solve that, that is making other people's lives better.
No, man, you said a mouthful. I mean, it's day to day. It's literally day-to-day living. I think one thing that maybe to add on what you said is that, can we live in 2022? Can we stop forgetting about, what the future is going to hold? Can we live? Because when you live here presently, and you are present, you are present with your family, you are present with your work, you are present with anything, you are present with any meeting, you are present even with this program. When you are listening to us here, you are present, you are here. You give yourself attention. That's how you live, instead of thinking always about, things in life that you might not actually even live. But when you live your present into your present, your future kind of like takes care of itself because it's cumulative. Is that consistency that then brings you to your future.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Amazing, man. So, to me, how do people reach you? Let's even give you a little bit of a commercial spot here. You know, if people want to come and listen to you preach and listen and see you in action at True North, how do they get there? Where are you based?
So we are based at 39 Wiskin Avenue in Crowthorne, that's in Midrand. We are on all the social media networks. Twitter is at TNC Midrand. We are on YouTube, True North Church Midrand, and on Facebook, True North Church Midrand. So you can find us there. I'm also on social media at Mkhwebane. That's for Twitter. And on Facebook, TL Mkhwebane. So people can reach out to me there, and we can chat and see how I can encourage, pray with, inspire people to live a more successful life.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Visit if you are in the Midrand area. You know, you won't regret it. I mean, I always catch your messages. You know, not necessarily all of them, but some of your messages on YouTube. And I can tell you now that every time, in fact, I do it when I go for a walk, and it always refreshes me. Thank you, man, for all the work that you're doing. And and thank you for being here on Moments of Inspiration. We really trust that it's not going to be the last time that you are here with us. And thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you for the opportunity. God bless you too.
Thank you, man. And thank you so much for everyone that is watching and listening to Moments of Inspiration. If you've got any comments, please, by all means, wherever that you are watching, whatever platform, just comment, just like, engage with us. Tell us what you would like to also know. You know, tell us what topics that you would like to hear in the future. So we'll continue next episode, and we'll be talking about how you can make 2022 really count, and how you can ensure that your life, even beyond 2022, makes a difference. Thank you so much for joining us, and God bless you all.